Hello?
So we're ready. Okay,
Okay,
so we're
yeah, we
ready.
said.
Let's go. Yeah,
Okay, great.
we're live now. We're live
Okay,
now.
great. Yeah,
We're
do
live.
you have
And welcome.
people who have
Yeah,
joined?
welcome, sir. I'm sorry about the glitch. Sometimes we don't even have control over these things. But thank God. I always believe that there's everything adds up for good. Very
Oh,
excited to, yes, very excited to have you. Um, in fact, the questions, I thought I had enough questions until more questions came for my private session. So I'm going to be even asking you more private questions because when it comes to the AI narrative, like everybody wants to know everything about AI narrative. But without much further ado, I like for you to do justice to the introduction. I came across your profile and in my head I'm like, wow, this is so rich, very very rich. Like this is rich. So I told my producer that you know what, I don't think I can do justice to the introduction. I would like permit me to call you Prof. I would like Prof himself. I would like him to do justice to the introduction. So, sir, if you will, if you permit, I would like for you to introduce yourself. Like, take your time. We need to know this talented, gifted man that God has blessed us with. I mean, you are a blessing. You are a blessing to the creative. For me, I feel you're a blessing to the creative space. And I feel this is even more timely, especially in an AI era where people are asking so many questions. So, sir, please just permit me to allow you to do the introduction. Let's meet you. Let's meet you.
thank you, Ejiro. First, thank you for having me. And
You're
say good
welcome.
morning. We are still in the morning to the audience out there worldwide. I'm really flattered, with your eminent introduction that you've done already. But be that as me, I'm just Chris Uwaje, a passionate IT enthusiast who was opportuned, I would say, and privileged to have pioneered the national policy for information technology for Nigeria. And this policy that was enabled by the Ministry of Science and Technology culminated into the creation of, or rather the official establishment by the federal government of Nigeria of what we now know as NITDA, the National IT Development Agency, that originated really as NITDO under Science and Tech, that is National Information Technology Unit, before the Act of 2007. So we're talking a span or a journey of 2001 to about 2007. But preceding that, I was also lucky to have been elected as the president of the Information Technology Association of Nigeria, called ITAN, and that is in the year 1999 that I served between 1999 and 2003. That journey was more or less a big challenge that turned into an opportunity. And I say, oh, when you're elected as a president, what is your program? But even before election, you need to get on the stage to sell your program. So I sold the National IT Policy Imperative for Nigeria in 1999 and flagged the first IT policy conference in Abuja. That is 1999. And we had attendants from India, Ethiopia, you name it, in all over Nigeria. And of course, you find out that on the other end, it's not about how bright you are or how opportune you are. On the other end, the people who listen to you matters. And I repeat that.
Yes.
The people who listen to you matters. It's like having two hands washing each other and become cleaner. So that is really the journey of my life. And ever since that I served, concurrently also was co-founder of the Institute of Software Practitioners of Nigeria, because that's really the roadmap and the backbone of the digital destiny of any nation. or the sovereign pathway of any nation. So I served as the vice president, and after the demise of our indefatigable co-founder, engineer Simeon Agu, who pioneered about 13 banks with indigenous software before he left for Beyond. May his soul rest in peace. So we co-founded the Institute of Software Practitioners of Nigeria. That's about 23 years ago. And today, I think ISPON is waxing strong. We believe that government will listen more to prioritize software as a roadmap. We're going to talk about that within the context of AI. So I'm just Chris, just Chris Uwaje. People call me the oracle of the IT industry, and it's like I'm humble. Engineer Titi Omwetu, during my book launch at the Institute of International Affairs in 2014, was the one who, after the review, now said that my other name should be the Oracle. So since that time, the Oracle of IT Nigeria has been stamped on me worldwide, even when I travel to New York or Silicon Valley or name it, to Wantum, China, and other places. They say, "Oh, that's the Oracle." I say, I'm humble." So that's just the little bit of my tese for intro. And thank you for having me once again.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think let me add to your list of titles. I think I'll just call you the AI prof. So I'll just add to your list of titles. So from all of us here, we are calling you the AI prof. So when I say prof, you know what I mean. Okay, so thank you so much for being so gracious to put all of those pointers around your introduction. I think it's much clearer now, giving us the premise and orientation around certain narratives. I think you really did justice to that. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have so many questions here, like so many questions. So, and I promise my audience that we're going to do justice to all of the questions. So right away, the first one says that why did you transition, sir, from being a technology leader to becoming a storyteller for children? And I'm saying that, or could that all have been in sync with the entire process of your transition?
That's a very good question. But meanwhile, I'm surprised at that question. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because there's no difference between technology and storytelling. None. The
Exactly.
proof, the proof is that the universe and our entire life is a story. Indeed, a story of life without end. When you look at what is happening around you, all the 360 degrees activity that happens is a story told by people. Just recently,
Right.
the Artemis went to see the dark side of the moon. And what did they do? They told a story to people on
Yes.
planet Earth. So I think it's the the bedrock of communication. All right, the
Yes.
necessity to share knowledge and to, of course, ensure that we can collectively engage in the progression of life, as it were. So technology and storytelling are the same thing, and I take you back to, of course, the formation of the the trajectory of Africa. And the Africans, of course, are the inhabitants of the first human beings. And how did they really invent energy that we use today? Story behind it is that they struck two stones to ignite fire, which of course is the energy we use today. And that story is still being told under a fire gathering in the village. In fact, most of the villages of Africa, when stories are told. So I think that makes a more sense. So we should not blur technology with storytelling. Storytelling is life. though they have segmentation, they have domain. So that's when you have expertise who will study the domain of X and tell that story or ensure that it can introduce that concept to validate the efficacy of the outcome of that branch of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Well said, sir. Well said. So we shouldn't blur technology with storytelling. I hear you, sir. Because, I mean, the universe and our entire life is a story in itself. Yes. Well said, sir. The second one says, your identity, and that I'm even as curious as this questionnaire. Your identity, AI conqueror. What does it truly mean, especially for a young African child, who is listening right now? We even have some children right here who is listening, who is watching. So I even had another question from a youth last night who wants to know. There's another narrative, but I think we should take this one first.
Good, good.
It's all in sync with
Thank
the.
you.
It's all in sync. It's all in sync with the AI conqueror. Anyway, it's all in sync. So it's two in one
Okay,
question.
great. First, let me thank and recognize my children out there whom
Thank you.
have
They can hear
taken
you.
the enthusiasm and the interest to come to listen to me. I pray that the Almighty God will give them long life to be able to tell the
Amen.
extension
Amen.
of this story to those coming generations. So,
Amen.
right.
Amen.
So going forward, the AI conqueror really, when you look at AI, there is the cloud that clusters, behind it. Okay, and this cloudy nature, you know, translate into many aspects of life for many people. But simply put, we want to understand, or we ought to understand that artificial intelligence, AI, that buzzword was coined about 70 years ago in 1956 at the science conference in Dartmouth in USA. So you have to ask yourself, that conference of time, almost 3.5 decades now, why has the people who lived 70 years ago not propagated AI as we are propagating it now? And of course, dancing around is ubiquity or ubiquitous nature. But simply defined, AI Conqueror is a call on the young Africans listening to me now to cultivate the audacity to think independently. That's just the trust. And to reimagine and discover their self, true self, their self-worth. That is the confidence building block that really energizes or supercharges innovation. There is a special gift of life hidden in all human beings. That is their true worth, and of course, that builds confidence. And that is
Yes.
why humans have unique DNA, if you understand the pathway of my
Yes.
knowledge, a special code of origin of innovation, happiness, love, smiles, kindness, empathy, resilience, of course, goodness that inhabit in that put smiles in other people, just like Ejiro does, she's always smiling and that radiates and gives people also
Thank you, sir.
some happiness. And of course,
Thank
children
you, sir.
possesses a lot of all the above mentioned gifts. So AI Conqueror epitomizes all the above that are presented because it comes with a special DNA, a special story
Yeah.
to tell Africans that they have the can do spirit, the can do knowledge, and of course the ability to navigate through the circumstances that will be presented by artificial intelligence going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So it's clear now. for all our young ones out there, the children, the teenagers, and for the youths out there, you now understand that the AI conqueror is more like a narrative that is building, and introducing that confidence in you. I like what you said, Prof. I like what you said. There's something you said that really caught my attention. That it comes with a special, DNA. I like that. I think I caught that myself. And that
A
AI
special
Conqueror
code.
is a call
Special
on the
code.
young. Yes, yes, special code. And it's a call on the young Africans to appreciate their self-worth, because I feel like this is fast becoming a challenge. Looks like the youths are settling for anything. I think it was Aristotle that said something like about why settle for mediocrity when excellence lies before you. So I feel this speaks to that particular narrative. It's time to begin to appreciate our self-worth. I mean, this hits me in a different way, just listening to you. Thank you so much for doing justice again. Thank you. So we'll move to the third one. When you say your mission is awakening, I think you've literally answered this in the second question, but let me just read it out for the sake of, doing justice. When you say your mission is awakening, what exactly are we waking our children up from and into? So I feel like you've answered a major part of this question where you talked about that it's time for, our children, the young ones, to start appreciating their self-worth, right? If I'm
Right.
correct.
Yes, you are, but really in the deeper context, you find out that
Okay.
it really means to drive deeper into one's consciousness layer,
Okay.
to discover and remold one's true being. There's always this confusion about what you
Yeah.
are, what you think you are, and what people think you are, or what
Yes.
people want you to be. So it is really this achievement by climbing the staircase of knowledge building to encounter discoveries. Okay?
Okay.
Sometimes it's complex, but it is a life journey that we must all, be clear and ready to embark on. So when you want to travel, you don't just wake and just run to the airport or to the train station or to the
Yeah.
bus stop. You prepare well in advance, and of course, you have multiplicity of data domain. The domain within your conference in your room, where the bus stop is, or train or airport is, where it is going, what the people are doing at home, your expectations. So it is a combination of these data sets that come together, which of course the artificial intelligence has been protecting. So in essence, it is building that knowledge encounter for new discoveries. And of course,
Mm.
it aims help us to aim for the pinnacle of civilization by dreaming and conquering complexities. We shouldn't be afraid, and we are going to come to the essence of fear, which of course is one of my very good aspects. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. I think we can even jump. Let's just jump to it right away. I'm curious. The essence of fear. You mentioned something
Right.
about the essence of fear. Now that has made me more curious. Can we just jump into it right away?
Right. Yeah. Fear, and I put fear, question mark. What is fear? I throw it back to you. Oh, listen, the human universe is an adventure landscape, all right? And within
Yes.
this adventure landscape, anything, everything can happen. Therefore, I think the word fear is grossly misplaced and
Okay.
misinterpreted. The
Mm.
better word to deconstruct fear is
Mm.
unknown. The word unknown. Unknown does not interpret into fear, but it is unknown. Okay, it's like a mathematical equation. You have to find a coefficient word of what is unknown. So to know and not to know does not and should not be interpreted as fear. That's my reason.
Wow. Okay. So it's just, will I be right to
So
say that?
we need to erase fear even when we encounter the unknown. We need to study that holistically and see how we can conquer, overcome, not by fighting, but by thinking, deeper thinking, analytics, because everything is possible under the universe.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So I'll be right to say, from what you shared now, I'll be right to say it's okay to fear, but it's what you do with that fear that matters, right?
Not really. What I'm saying is that there's no fear. The fear should
There's no fear.
be extinguished from your dictionary, DNA. It's
Okay.
the temptation of describing the unknown, what you don't know. As some proverbs say, don't kill you. But really, on the other side, on the flip side, what you don't know that the enemy is coming to stab you from the back might also kill you. So when you explore the unknown, you are not afraid. But when you are afraid, you cannot explore the unknown. You agree with me?
Prof, please take that again.
So
That again.
when you explore the unknown, that is juxtaposing unknown or juxtaposing fear with unknown. When you explore it, all right, you are not afraid because you have the inquisitive side to be able to know more. But when you are afraid, you are held back. You stoop,
Yeah.
but you can't conquer.
Yeah.
But the
Yes.
unknown, in search of the unknown, spurs you more forward to conquer, knowledge-wise,
Yeah.
adventure-wise,
Mm.
and of course, even ensuring that you can walk on the sea and the water. Though you can sink, but if you know how to swim, you jump on the sea, say, see me walking, but then you go down and come up. So, but for somebody who is afraid and who doesn't know how to swim, if he goes in there are two things. Either from the unknown instincts, he survives by shouting for help, or he or she sinks. So I think the embodiment of the collective experience that we are sharing is that, yes, there are challenges out there, okay? But if we eliminate fear as some of
Yeah.
the content of fear, then automatically we are having a more leeway to think, in a very constructive way, in a deeper format, to explore alternatives, intersections of how we can navigate to achieve our objectives.
Yes.
That
I think this is really, really,
sounds
yes.
philosophical, but then, of course,
No,
the taste.
Prof, I think it's very, very clear. You've been able to demystify this entire concept of fear. Because so it just means that all of this is a matter of what exists in our head at times, you know. But the reality is that once you're able to go beyond, and you take a step and explore, then you're on your way to becoming successful in any endeavor, I guess. I think I apply your explanation in all sphere, in all narratives. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for doing justice to that. So now,
Thank you.
right away, let's go to.
And I think
Thank you so
you are an example of that domain of analogy,
much. Okay.
because there's this phobia of technology by women, but you take it headlong, and I'm
Yeah.
really amazed at what depth you've been able to go. And I
Wow.
think
Thank you so much.
it
Thank you. Thank
it
you.
resonates here. Okay.
Thank you. Coming from you, that's very huge. Coming from you, that's huge. Thank you for your kind words.
Okay.
Thank you for your kind words.
I will lace it up by giving you the Digital Woman of the Week.
Yay! Thank you. I'm so honored, sir. I'm already like blushing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Coming from you, that's very huge. I feel like my weekend is made. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm honored. So now this is another very crucial question on this list. While I was compiling it, because we need to also kind of X-ray the mind of others, and I feel this is a very crucial question here, and I have no doubt you do justice to it. AI and the next generation. AI and the next generation. Many people fear AI, and so the curiosity again is, why are you choosing to position children as masters of this instead? What's that catch?
Mm. Okay. I think the issue I was looking at is if a parent is listening to me, which of course they're all intertwined, in Lagos or anywhere from Africa, listening to
Everybody
us.
all around the world. Mhm.
Yeah. So what's the first step they should take to prepare their children, for an AI-driven world? So I think this is part of the package of the question that you asked. And if I were to be prophet, or a professorial, as a prophet, as a professor, I'll just say
Yeah.
storytelling, period, to your answer. Storytelling, period. Why? Because indeed, life is a story, and African children form a significant part of the story of life. And it is instructive to ensure that we interface children in African life, not to exclude them. Oh, you are baby, go out, go out. We are working. No, we need to give them a hand holding as a scaffold to be able to join in the exploration of that story. They should not be denied of the precious data that is available to share. For example, uh, the fourth
That's
line,
true.
the fourth line probably is that want to believe Africans are not sharing enough data with the young ones, and that probably is a deficiency in the construct of development of national sovereignty and security, and of course, in innovation as well. We can't
That's
consume
right.
what we know alone without giving to the children, because, as they say, no one needs to know. Meanwhile, parents should encourage the African
Yes.
child to think, and mind my word, to think without the box. What
That's right.
they have told us is that you think with the box. Nobody
Yes.
queries who is the box? Who made the box? Who made the box?
Who made the
So
books?
there is no box. When we come to innovation and ensuring that Africans can be independent thinkers, there is no box. The preferred model is by design thinking
No books.
through making and using. That is the way. So that challenges Africans to establish more playgrounds for kids, not just stadium. No, kindergarten should be able to see from inside the engine of a car. They should be able to see
Yes.
how the food they eat is processed through fire in the kitchen. And not only that, the equipment that fires that ingredients to become food. And to tell them that doesn't really end there. How does the ingredients get to the kitchen? It's about farming. It's about transportation. It's about involvement. It's about technology. So it is an intertwine and the intersection. The children uh, are really, what do I call it? They have a right to be informed. And that right
Yes.
is taken away from them by telling them to go and instead. There has to be a moment we must share with our children, especially when they are
Yes.
growing up. If we look at the
Yes.
birds, if we look at the birds in the forest, you see that the birds are always with their wings shielding the children, the kids. When rain is falling, they are there. It feeds them. Take food and feed the kids. All right? Because this coordination is been there from the inception of the placenta communication between mother and child. And of course,
Child. Yeah.
we can't break that. It has to be, one of those uh, formulas that we can bring to bear by ensuring that the kindergarten that we have today as a borrowed ground has to be redesigned and ensure that we really have a confident building playground for our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. And while you were giving all of those nuances, something came to my head, and I'm thinking, like, with all that you said, do you think what's coming in the way, especially within the African premise or context, has to do with a lot of mindset? Because there's this mindset that, I like that you're even speaking to this, and I feel is a challenge that is staring us in the face. We cannot overemphasize the importance of children being in the center of the storytelling narrative, especially with respect to the technological aspect, like you rightly said, which is also part of the storytelling. Now, within the context of AI, do you think, Prof, I think we should dwell on this a little more because we are all part of that African narrative. I'm an African, a Nigerian, so I cannot even claim that I'm oblivious of what you're saying. With respect to pushing this narrative forward, I'm looking at that challenge of the mindset. Where do you think all of this stems up from? Why do you think it looks like the average African parents is fighting this progress? Why do you think so? In terms of disposure, in terms of mindset.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. I think you have put in a lot of angle, data coefficient angles into that resonates into uh, education, research, economics,
Yeah.
development, employment, all are interwoven. All right. And
Yeah.
as earlier notified in my opening address, you recollect that I said life is a story.
Yes.
That is what we are doing. But the context and the content of that story is really what matters in building the formative consciousness of humanity, of
Yes.
humans, and especially of Africans. And
Mm.
let me tell you a story now, looking at you and looking at me. 80% of our costume, what we are wearing, is African dress.
That's
And
right.
it is either conscious or intentional. What it
Mm.
means is that by establishing this narrative and presenting ourselves the way we do, we are creating job. We are modifying the narratives of other people. We are translating the beauty of Africa into a more
Mm.
higher echelon and telling people who are not that we are really what we are. So imagine if African women, as have been promoted in Ghana, decided that in the next 10 years, they will not wear any English wear because they need to come up with designs of what they want to do, what they want to wear. You will create more
Yeah.
abundant energy. And of course, we're talking about a huge economy worldwide. So now, to get to the context of this thing, as earlier notified in my address, you will recall that I said that life is a story.
Yes.
And I do not want to be misunderstood by saying that indeed CNN is a story, period, and nothing but a story. Education is a story. When I was a toddler,
That's
I
right.
sat in a class and the teacher was teaching us, but is telling us a story of how
Yes.
knowledge is imparted from his own discipline. Agriculture is a story. You can't plant yam or maize or this thing if you've not been to the farm and know how it works.
That's right.
Friendship is a story. Marriage is a story. Sports and games are stories. And indeed, what we do with our food chain, food and eating, is a story of life. The recent moon landing, as we said, by Artemis Adventure and Exploration, is a story. And that makes AI Playbook for African Children a special story. They must own their AI and EI, which is the emotional intelligence stories. Unless they do that, the experience of the future will be more traumatic than the slavery era. And that is the responsibility of those of us who are living today. Thank you.
Wow. Like that's the landing right there. That's the landing. I feel that you've really moved this a lot um, further than we envisaged. Life is a story. Education is a story. Agriculture is even a story. Friendship is a story. Marriage is a story. Sports and game is a story. And AI playbook is a special story that's a must have for every child. I think we're in a good place where, you know what? Let's talk about your project. Let's talk about this beautiful narrative that you've introduced in the creative space. I feel like this is a very perfect timing, especially in an era where children, again, like you said in one of your previous take, that it's time for children to begin to appreciate their self-worth. So let's connect this with the AI playbook by Professor Chris Uwaje. Tell us everything. Tell us
I think
everything. Tell us
the,
everything.
the academia might want to sanction you. I'm not a professor. I know
No,
you
it's
put
fine.
that
It's
in
fine.
context. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
I
But
mean,
it's good. It's
I'm
good that.
coding this.
So, so thank you very much, Ejiro, once more. And I think from the perspective, I think your question resonates to showing that African AI family sounds powerful, right? And what
Yes.
vision are you building with this, and how can children become part of it? Excellent. All right. It was just like the narrative I did to weave your appearance and my appearance in traditional African wear and how it moves forward. Okay? So if that is taken away from us, we lose our identity, we lose everything. So Africa is, for example, and remains the undisputed origin of humanity and the custodian of the treasures of civilization. It is not disputed. All right. So uh, currently, Africa is an amazing continent with about 1.55 billion inhabitants in a land space comparable, for example, with the combination of USA, China, and Europe combined. That's our land space. So you wonder sometimes you fly from Lagos to Johannesburg in 5 hours, and you're flying from Lagos to London in 6 hours. That gives you something that they are not telling us. The landmass of Africa by geographical expression in design was intentionally shrinked, you know, to accommodate some use in the Mediterranean Sea. So, in context, if we have 1.55 billion people, and of course, we're talking about the youth, almost 60.2% of, of African population are youth. That's enormous resource. And if it comes to risk
Yes.
taking, to emotional intelligence to transport development into the realm and enhance security, we are a continent with a capacity to raise 100 million standing army, for example, combined.
Yes.
And of course, to defend our sovereignty. We can do that. But the bigger picture is to groom 1 billion digital minds to safeguard the continent data and crucial information landscape. That is something very important. That's part of the job you are doing to make sure that there is data security and safety for the African continent, especially for the African child, because we question what will be the world of tomorrow and what role will the African child play. Therefore, African children must be made conscious of the critical role they have to play, and of course, ensure that they are really ordained and must play that role to advance and secure human development as well as progress at a level including technology and artificial intelligence going forward. Artificial intelligence sometimes, as we say, is misplaced, as if it is dropped from the sky. We'll get into that.
Okay. I think we should just get into that because if you look at all, you know, I don't do very well with suspense, even though I'm called the suspense queen when it comes to storytelling. But I myself, I don't do very well with suspense. So let's get into it right away, sir.
Right.
Because I think, to be honest, to be very honest, all that you've said from the beginning of this chat interview, I think you've covered every single angle. You just preempted our questions. Like you've been able to preempt like 5 questions in one or 10 questions. I mean, it tells us how, I mean, it's no surprise how brilliant, coming from a very brilliant mind like yours. You've been able to tackle every angle. That's what you've done. It's almost like leaving us without any question. So let's get right into this, right? I think
Thank you.
it would be a good place to continue from. Yes.
Thank you very much. As we said, I think the query is to start to understand how we can interrogate sequencing in development and civilization. People jump into the bandwagon. Of course, it's good, it's at the anxiety. Oh, artificial intelligence is there, is a bruised word. And when you ask them, what is artificial intelligence? They say, yes, it's AI, it's a mix, yeah, this, and whatever. Yes, it can. But really, in breaking it down, artificial intelligence, AI, is human construct And this construct rests or is rooted in EI, emotional intelligence of humanity. AI does not fall out of the sky. No,
Yes.
it is rooted somewhere. And that somewhere that is rooted to is in humanity. Of course, in technology context, it now becomes the body, a special body of knowledge for navigating. Uh, we seem to forget that really, I think it was almost 23 years ago, I wrote about the machine society. All right. We are surrounded by machines. I was flying from California to New York and then from there to Lagos, and it was a long journey. So I had rest place to sit down and then look at how I'm orbiting, how the machine is taking me. But now to interrogate what is inside the machine, not where I'm sitting at. I can see the sky whatever,
Yes.
but what is making
That's
it
true.
to fly and how does it make? So I think those are some of the uh, borderline of originality that we must be interested, especially for our kids. So Africa must first reset her values by consciously refining her originality in thought process and protecting her identity. With over 60% of our population made up of youths, Africa has a great opportunity to lead the world in technology innovation, in planet Earth, and indeed in outer space. If a bird can fly, we can make objects fly.
Yes.
So those issues are critical, but then we can't take them for granted because
Granted.
there are basic rules that must be followed. Okay? Rules like equity, rules like merit-based assessment, rules like empathy, consideration, respect, rules
Mhm.
like acknowledgement, acknowledging people for what they've done. A professor of mine told me, oh, he read my profile and think I deserve a National Merit Award. I said, I don't know about that. So what I'm thinking about is that really, if you do the analytics of African ecosystem,
Yes.
you find that there is more waste than you know we we are able to galvanize to pushing our livelihood. So um, if I were probably government, I would create a waste, not waste like you have in terms of waste management, and waste academic, a campus of thinkers that can augment. Why do you waste water? How many liters are wasted? Why do we waste food? How many food are wasted? What are the value and all what's not? So you find out that you need to recondition knowledge in a different domain. That takes us, for example, to our children who, like Andrew Rajapa, who have gone out there and remained there. Ask them, what is holding them back there that they can't come back home? What can we do at home to lure them to come? Okay. I will advise we build a national diaspora returning campus, a campus that is built for diaspora qualified only in academia and this thing, their children, they return to the campus to think of how to integrate into the society. They will be in the campus free of cost for 2 years, and they'll be kicked out into the society. It's
Okay.
like having a baby or a bird baby that you nurture in the nest, then sometimes it has to fly away to fend for itself. So with that, you
That's
have
true.
confidence that you are coming home. And of course, they are contributing factors. If we look at their remittances from abroad, it's awesome. But we don't just need the money, we need the knowledge because they are tapping their knowledge out there, which have, of course, been grown and modified. It was built as foundation here before they get in. So we are stakeholders in their lives, in their journey. And they have to not say give back. No, we have to create the pedestrian for them to have the assurances that we want to give them. So governance, inclusive governance is very important. And technology can help. AI also can help us to redefine, how to create an equilibrium and balance of some of our architectural human challenges in governance and leadership that we've done in here. I was tempted to, to explore what about having a woman president in Nigeria. And some of my friends said,
Not a bad
uh,
idea.
ah, can they fight war? And whatever. I said, must you fight war to develop? I said, do you know that women don't waste resources as other men do? Do
Yes.
you know that they have empathy? Anyway, we settled down after the argument to say it makes sense. Let us create a leadership equation or an agenda
Yes.
where any ruling party that wants to field will field men only for this year and for 8 years. Next 8 years, starting, all candidates that are going to be fielded for the post of president must be from whatever party. They must field a woman. Let's experiment this for probably 50 years. They said, oh, why do you want to destroy? I said, why should men be president all the time?
Yes.
You see, the
Question.
knowledge, the knowledge construct of a nation should be not divided, it shall be an embodiment of a holistic nature. And of course, the other issue is like we are talking about AI playbook and for the children. The disadvantages of who they are, where they come, and how they are selected can be resolved by technology. How? And there is a program software we are exploring, what they call the shadow layer. What does a shadow layer mean? A shadow layer means that we've discovered that in government, in corporate entities, in other areas, selection in education is done mostly from, in fact, constitutionally, that this region must produce this and whatever. We know. But when it comes to merit analytics, there has to be a shadow layer that encapsulates your name or tribes. It gives you a code. Your name, everything is enveloped and encapsulated under that code. The invigilators don't know you. They want to see what you have produced.
What's inside? Yes.
So the shadow layer now, when it comes to enrollment in education, it is per the examination and scorecard. So the shadow layer will now compute the best or the very best stuff to the list that is expected. The conflict, my uh, colleagues agree. You might have a section of the country or two sections dominating the embodiment of that.
That's true.
I said, then explore why that is happening, why that is the case, and design a special program to create an equilibrium of everybody, because it's a challenge. If you leave it like that, automatically it will become the same pattern that you have in the next 100 years. So AI, yes, in a positive sense, can contribute to be able to ensure that we have uh, an umpire, as I said, an umpire that probably we agree with and design. But then it has to be managed, because even umpires can be influenced, and AI also
Yes.
can be injected with substantive data case by designers or encapsulated, in that code capsule that will explode over time when X happens, in the capsule. So AI playbook is essential. And I tell you what, as I said, it's a storytelling. We are looking at having AI playbook created as a humanized robot that can teach in class. Not only that.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
because
awesome.
as we are talking, it's simple. We create a robot that can anchor your program and put the string on the chart, and it'll be anchoring, and it will be in school, and kids will say. So AI playbook can be translated in 19 Nigerian languages. No, 19 African languages, beg your pardon. From Swahili to Kikuyu to Yoruba to Igbo to Arabic to Hausa and whatever. Do you know what that information will do? Because information and talking to ourselves in different languages connotes different meanings. And researchers have found that really there is no language in the world that is complete in itself. None. There are meanings in Urhobo that doesn't exist in Hausa or in English or
That's
in Chinese.
that's true.
So we are talking about the component of each language that could be disseminated in English. So if we build the robots, we can put it. I mean, we have the AI playbook has a curriculum analytics for teachers inside it. The robots
Okay.
can teach the teachers. The robots can
Yes.
play with the children. The robot can query or throw questions, that in the playbook for the children. All right. So you have a completeness of people listening. And what it does that will be appealing is that it will cool down the temperament of our kids to think. We are more or less too quick to jump. Yes, rascality is good. We did it. But in an environment, we need to explore more by deep thinking to have deep data designing, to invent things. And don't forget, there are a lot of inventions here out there that are not or promoted because leadership vacuum is also there. We have seen that within our storytelling enclave, you also find out that there are people, if you don't tell the story well, that people with picture evidences, your audience doesn't understand. So teaching, education must change. The classroom must change.
I
The
agree.
classroom must become the studio of the future where Ejiro and his team is modifying the data of the teacher into the narrative of the children to have more interactions. So there's a lot that we can talk about on this. And it is for you. I'm writing, almost completing my second playbook. It's
Wow.
called My Data Playbook for African Children. And my granddaughter is featuring because she has a role that she has cracked down that grandpa put me inside this thing because I want to be part of this book, and I have an idea of how we can use data to protect the future of our country. I was blown away. So she is part of my data playbook for African children.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Wow, that's like in fact, this deserves a standing ovation from all of us here, because I mean it's very evident that you have put in the work, you have put in the passion, utmost sense of commitment and dedication from all that you have put before us on this table. It's such I would describe it as such a rich recipe and menu that we all can feed from. I like the fact, sir, I like the fact that you're very intentional about your direction and the direction of this, AI playbook. And of course, that leads me to the next question. So I'm thinking, who can actually work with you? You understand? Who can work with you? Who can join force to work with you? Or who are you open to work with respect to channeling this valuable, creative book? You know, I mean, almost immediately, I'm saying that this AI playbook needs to be all over the world already. And to think that it can be translated into 19 African languages, that's really remarkable. So who are you open to work with right away? Like, I know, of course, schools are also beneficiaries of this amazing work. Even churches, I'm looking at churches, I'm looking at all the networks that channels towards children, teenagers, and even adults that needs to be conscientized and be aware of this, beautiful developments. So what are you open to work with?
Thank you, Ejiro. I think, as an author or developer, there are many stages of engagement, even before the blueprint comes in. And of course, you have a copyright and intellectual property to hold on. Yes, that's probably a beauty. But there is a lot of network. That's what we must understand, that this success is a coordinated and intertwined network, that everybody who has the skill can fit in and, of course, be governed by that dynamics that all of us now benefits. Um, your question really threw me back and deep into the space of my earlier intention of what the playbook can do if I had my way. If it was applicable, I would have turned the playbook into a Disney World, because the Disney has the tools. I approached some designers, that can do those images and animation in my concept, in African concept. And of course, we're talking about millions of dollars. So what I'm saying is that there has to be resources for developers, digital developers of content, software, data cohesion, security. There has to be, a special pause from a nation if we know the value, especially for our children. Our children don't read books anymore. They listen to stories and they do another world out there. And that story construct must be a sort of a standard framework that government intervention is to be able to, deliver and assure a purpose. So there is a lot that government can do by
Yes.
infusing that into education. There is a lot that corporate promoters can do by fusing them into education. For example, as you said, a corporate banking in their hall where you have queues and whatever, you put the robot and a playbook, a chessboard of skill that is talking, a playbook, and say, this is AI playbook for your children. Some people will be glued and forget that their line has passed. But it decongests it. It has a dual purpose demand, and the information is coming into the children who become tomorrow, and their parents are involved in that intercession. Indeed, AI playbook should probably be a sort of a mandatory curriculum for our people, because it has the redesign is the content, the holistic content that is available in our curriculum can be broken down into 60% images, voice, and skill that will create more efficient knowledge dissemination to our people. And of course, finally, that people would ask you, oh, what's the difference between A and this? I said, for me, digital literacy is different from AI literacy. And I define this digital literacy like learning how to drive a car. All right? You get into the steering, they tell you about the appliances, and of course, you can move a car, right? That is digital literacy. AI literacy is learning how the car drives itself from the engine room. You enter the engine, you open the bonnet, and see how it is connected. That is AI. That's the difference between digital literacy and AI literacy. So if we want to be AI literate, we need to build an AI literacy centers with, especially for kids, with playing blocks, of dismantled sequences of codes and fashions and, of course, of technology. They can play as a puzzle. All right? That is their life. That is their home. We need to rebuild the consciousness of our children, and of course ensure that they don't forget our language and they don't forget the African food, which nourishes, of course, the brain. And least we forget, I think we gloss over it. We will say the mother, as mother, even a pregnant mother, the connection placenta and the fetus is important because it's a communication route, and they have to talk to the children even before they are born. They have to eat the food they want them to eat when they're born. So that is that importance that we want to make sure that we bring there to bear. Thank you. So I'm done. Over to you. Hello. Hello, Jiro. Are you still there? Okay. All right. So you're back.
Are you
Go
still with
ahead.
me? Are you still with me, sir?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm just saying that I'm done. If you are still there, then we have.
No, I'm still very much here. So I think the next question will be, how can we reach you? How can people want to reach you directly? They want to talk with you. They want to even, I guess, even for those who might want to even do more business and look at how they can, collectively, more like how they can collaborate with you for both from the individual angle and the corporate angle. So how can you be easily reached, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. I can be reached through my email, which of course Ejiro has on the studio. That's wajenet@gmail.com. That is one medium. And the other details, I would say they should reach E Plus, who, of course, is our unannounced partner now, the E Plus
Thank you.
Gateway. E Plus Gateway, in terms of calling or call in or other sources, can also be put into the constraint, because confidentiality. My telephone number is confidential, and I can
It's very
only
personal. Yes.
use that process. Okay,
Yeah.
is a traffic post that I can be reached. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's been such. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been such. I think we should just
Mm.
put our hands. Everyone here, everyone here in the studio has such a
Mm.
prof. I know you can hear. Like, can we put a standing ovation? Yeah, he deserves it. He
All
deserves it. I was just
right.
saying to
Okay. Thank
myself.
you.
I was just saying to myself that this is cool. This is cool. I've been very schooled. We've had such rich information and knowledge from you, sir. And I pray that God will continue to strengthen you. God will continue to enrich you. I feel you have so much to give. You've not even started yet, sir. So don't even think of retiring anytime soon. You have so much to give. And I'm thinking of something. We'll talk about it after the program. I'm just thinking of something because you're such a body of knowledge. I'm thinking of something. We might just be running a session here with you. I mean, of course, anchored on your brand. If you're open to that, run a session with you. It could be once a week. It could be once a week. I mean, you're such a dose of knowledge. And I feel being positioned as that AI prof, you know, um, this is a very perfect timing. I keep saying it's a perfect timing where we need to keep pushing. It shouldn't be a once-off prof. So I think you should think about it. You can have, you can have your feature here, and we target, the AI experience with Prof. Chris Uwaje. We can have a feature here because I mean, this kind of wealth of knowledge is what people are really paying, craving for, and it's helping to connect all those missing dots and missing links. So I guess we have so much to talk about afterwards. It's been such an amazing time. We have people here. We have people here in the studio who also have
Yeah.
been listening. Yeah, some of them wanted to. Okay, sorry, sir. Some of them wanted to walk away, but once you started talking, they decided to stay. And I'm sure it's the same experience with our audience out there. Of course, for our audience out there, don't worry. We're going to be sharing the link again. So um, at your own time, at your own pace, and within your own space, you can always come back. I'm distracted. You can always come back, relax, watch, consume all of the knowledge, information, and make do to take action. Professor Chris Uwaje's AI playbook, it- like he has said, he can be contacted because we are doing this based on strict confidentiality, and lots of the copyright has to be protected. So once you get, we're going to be sharing his email on the screen once we are done, and we'll share the link to this particular interview. Make do to share with family, friends, loved ones, strangers. Make do to share. This is not the kind of content that you keep to yourself. There is something amazing happening there's something amazing happening in the creative space, and everyone should be part of this beautiful experience. The AI book, the AI Conqueror, it's all a brain work of Prof. Chris Uwaje's, and sleepless night efforts and intentional inputs. And you know what that means. It's a good development for our story, especially as it has to do with the African story. Like he has rightly put it, life in itself is a story. And the children have to be in the center of this story. They cannot be left out within the context of an AI emerging generation. So
Thank you, Ejiro. I think
Yeah.
you are still there for
Yes, we
the
are. So,
for
like I always,
yeah
I
for
love,
play.
I always say, inspiration is the bed of creativity. You can always, and this ensure that you're very intentional about your program, about pushing the narrative forward, especially within the creative space. And from
Right.
all of us here, sir, we say thank you so much for doing justice. Any word, or any one last line word for us?
Okay. Yes, I think the words are really not for you. It's for my children out there. And
Okay,
you
okay.
said if every child watching you today could remember just one message from you,
Yes,
what will it be?
yes,
That
yes, sir.
message will read from the children. I am not afraid of the AI world. Africans are the future of AI conquerors. And finally, I will say by interrogating the laws of opposites and extracting a merit first philosophy, which I've been advocating, and the balancing act to deliver a bonded, loving, and sustainable future for our collective humanity and especially our children. In doing that, we must keep both our eyes widely open. With that, I want to thank all the audiences, especially the children, their parents, and all what's not. And I can assure them that Ejiro and our party will push this forward. I'm sure that Ejiro can create a special versions for Yoruba or Igbo. You just use translate and AI can help you do that. And you can relay that for special session for Igbo callers to call you in. I'm just creating economies
Yes.
for you without
Thank you.
charging my commission. All right. So I
Yeah.
want to thank especially, I have very distinguished
Okay.
uh, colleagues out there. I give a shout out to my friend, my brother, and of course, a close intellectual giant in Washington, D.C., Professor Raymond Akule. Professor Raymond Akule was a past president of Digital Bridge Institute in Nigeria. He's a lecturer in
Okay.
one university out there. And of course, we have uh, Lucky, son, a digital son in Germany. We have all my sons and colleagues in the UK, Kester, Victor in Germany. We have my friends and IPv6 colleagues all over Africa. Dr. James Olufuye, who is a UN digital personnel and chairman of the uh, Aficta, a colossus in the IT industry, and of course, one of the pioneers of the national IT policy. I recognize them. And of course, you have numerous people from African IPv6 task force. That is infrastructure of today that we are co-founded with our mentor and chairman of the task force, Professor Latif Ladid, a Moroccan who of course sits in Austria, as one of their their Europe voices to make sure that this is done. And he has founded IPv6, that is Internet Protocol version 6, all over the world.
Okay.
Nigeria is still underserved digitally because we are still using Internet Protocol version 4, addressing system that has escalated a lot of digital security issues. Though there's a lot of migration, to IPv6 network in country, but they are still low. And that latency creates a troubling challenge for policymakers to ensure that they can move forward. Yes, NCC has a different kind. NIDA is trying. The national data protections are there, but overwhelmingly, the focus today moving forward, seeing the
Yes.
challenges of AI, Nigeria should redesign her future by putting her eggs in software development that is indigenous, that is localized, and of course, that is taught in country. That is the way forward. Anything that negates that philosophy is a doomsday. And of course, our children, African children, are there to navigate that they know that we can't come to the doomsday because they are intelligent enough to ensure that they can
Yes.
compete with the best of the rest in Africa. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone. God bless you.
And God bless you too, sir. And there you have it. Such an engaging and refreshing time on this special segment of Meet the Guest with E Plus the Storyteller. You would agree with me that it's been worth the time all this while. And I want to also say that this will not be the last of having Prof. Chris Uwaje on the session. Just look forward to more exciting times and moments. And again, make do to share. Make do to share, 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 share. Don't be selfish with this. Okay. So until we come your way again, be good. And remember that the sky is so big for every one of us to fly, and you can keep winning. All right. I'll come your way again next time and I'll see you. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you.